Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Today we have Cam Dudkiewicz on. In this episode, we talk about his experience playing different sports growing up, the time I had an asthma attack on our first run together, and how we found cross country and track and field. A common theme you'll find throughout the episode is how focusing on getting a little better each day adds up. Cam definitely embodies this. It was a real pleasure getting to hear Cam's story. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like and subscribe on Spotify and on YouTube, and follow Enjoy Your Stay on Instagram. Links for everything will be in the show notes. And now, here's my conversation with Cam Dudkiewicz. So I've known you for sports. I know you're a pretty well-rounded athlete. Why don't you tell us a little bit about kind of the different sports you've played over the years?
Well, I've played from high school, right? We'll start in middle school. So the very first sport I played was volleyball. That was just kind of like a family sport I did. Everyone in my family kind of joined and played it. So I was like, let me try. I liked it. And as sixth grader, you remember me when I was sixth grade. I wasn't very athletic or fit, right? I was a little chunky kid.
Well, we
Right?
were all a little bit.
I think that was.
We were all a little bit out of shape back
I
then.
don't know. I don't know about everyone out of shape, and for being 200 pounds at 11, 12 years old was it's kind of bad, man. It's kind of bad, but that was the first sport I joined, and to just get exercise, right? And just to try it out. I've always been a competitive kid. I've always liked to do competitive things, right? Physical things as well, but I just had like a limitation for a little bit. But yeah, sixth grade volleyball was probably the first thing. I joined basketball. I tried out for basketball my seventh grade year. I got cut, which I think is funny because it just shows how out of shape I was.
Yeah.
Right. Who gets cut as a seventh grade basketball team? I couldn't run. But eighth grade's kind of when it changed. I made it a point to really focus on my health and fitness, because just to better every part of my life, right? That's the politically correct answer. I really just did it so that girls would like me.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's the same with me.
I did it for vanity, bro.
No,
I did it for vanity, man.
We all start there. I think.
I wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all start there, just depending on like what side of the spectrum, whether it's losing weight, gaining weight. And a lot of times it's just to look better, to, in our case, get girls to like us. But then I think as you get older, going on that journey, you start to realize that there's more to it than how you look. It's how you feel, what it does for you, mentally, things like that.
Yep.
But yeah. So
those are the benefits that I was looking at, right? I forgot seventh grade year when I got cut from basketball. I cried really hard because basketball was my favorite sport. I was crying really hard. I said, well, I don't know how to get better.
Yeah.
So I found track and field in middle school, seventh grade.
Oh, okay.
They don't cut, fortunately for me, right? They don't cut, right? So, track and field, there's running. It's a lot of running, jumping involved, but the people forget there's throwing events as well.
Yeah.
And usually the people who are not athletically inclined enough to run or jump, they will put them in because they're like, oh, okay, so you're big and strong. So you're big and strong, so they'll put you in throwing. So they put me in all the throwing events, and I don't know what there one day. I don't know if you remember him. He was a teacher at Agata, but he was also the coach for basketball and track. His name was Albert Wan.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I
remember
one of my favorite coaches. If he ever watches this, shout out to him. One of my favorite coaches. You remember I was a big kid, right? And I was coasting through middle school, making friends by just being the funny guy, right? So that people wouldn't tease me, they wouldn't laugh at me, they'll laugh with me, right? That was my goal, right? So I was the funny guy, didn't take anything too serious. And then I don't know, one day I think it was maybe because a girl didn't like me back in middle school. And I was like, why doesn't she like me? Oh, maybe it's because I'm fat, right? And why am I fat? It's because I'm not working hard enough, right? So one practice, I was like, I was whenever he did like drills, we did conditioning drills. I would just go through it, just making jokes and making light of it. But this day I took it very serious. And my Coach Juan, he saw that, and I went hard in one drill, and I was going back in line to get in line, and he stopped me, put his hand on my shoulder, he's like, "Cameron, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm okay. I just want to get better." And I remember that moment because he looked at me. He stopped the whole practice. He's like, "Everyone, stop and come in." And I thought I did something wrong, but he actually stopped the practice to praise me, commend me. Right?
Wow.
He's like, "This is the reason why I coach for people like this. Cameron, he's not fastest, he's not the strongest, but what did you hear what he said? He's taking these drills seriously because he wants to get better."
Yeah.
Right. And then from there on out, that's all she wrote. I did get better. You work hard, you see the results, right? 7th grade. 8th grade year, joined every sport I could, right? I joined volleyball. I played soccer, right? Volleyball's first, did really well in that. Soccer was second.
Second quarter.
First time joining soccer ever.
Mhm.
Really liked it, really enjoyed it. It was fun. Soccer. And then we had basketball. And again, I
Mhm.
told you
Yeah,
the
you didn't
start.
make the
I
team.
got cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't make the team, but in 8th grade year, did I make the team? And I also started, right? So
Nice. Yeah.
so from not even being on the team the year before, prior to making the team, and then just being a starter,
Yeah.
right? Our 8th grade year, and I don't know, we weren't the best, but we were competitive enough. And then 4th quarter, track and field. So all those sports, right? Going back to track, I was the best thrower in middle school, for
Nice.
discus.
Yeah.
One of the best, not the best, but one of the
One of the
best.
best. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, and then I did some running events too. So, it shows that working hard, like working hard does pay off, right? You'll
Yeah.
see the results, right? And then it just carried on into high school. And then high school, I did sports again just for the for the notoriety, for just so that people would like me too. So I joined football because everyone loved football back at GW,
Oh,
right? George
yeah.
Washington
Yeah.
High School.
Heck yeah. High
Yeah,
school
yeah.
football.
So I joined that. Yeah, and again, it's another family. It was another family sport of mine. My uncle was a star in football, so I wanted to like try to yeah, I wanted to try to like, if he's good, I want to continue like, Duckwitzes are good at
Oh,
football,
football. Yeah. I kind of carry
right?
that
I wanted
family
to,
name.
mhm,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
mhm.
I
I
want to
wanted
go.
to do that. I wanted to go
Yeah.
ahead, go ahead, go
No,
ahead.
no, no. You're good. Go for it.
Oh yeah, so yeah, and I tried that. Found out it wasn't for me.
Okay.
Found out it
Yeah.
wasn't for me, but I did do 2 years of it. Um, I tried out for the basketball team as well. Freshman year, you got cut as again, just because you need to be a little bit more skilled when you're at the higher
Higher
level.
level. Yeah. It's a bigger school.
Conditioning wise, I was okay. Yeah, I was okay conditioning wise, but it's more to the skill level. So I joined track and field again, uh, just to get back more into shape, just to keep in shape, to keep my speed, keep my strength, and everything like that. Again, I did gain weight my freshman year because that freshman 15, you gain weight again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're chunky again. I'm a chunky kid again. But use track and field as a way to just lose the weight. And I didn't expect anything much from track and field, but it ended up being my best sport. Ended up being where I was a star, and I was the only freshman to make the All Island team back home on
Nice.
Guam.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So for a throwing event, it's called javelin. If you ever heard of it, it's just the
Yeah. Yeah.
if you ever watched the movie 300, it's the spear
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
throw. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
right. So I did that. But yeah, I was the only freshman to make All Island. Um,
Nice.
in the throwing event. So that's what
Nice.
that's what catapulted it. And then that's all she wrote, huh? Started doing all the sports when I was in high school.
Everything you could. I want to go back to middle school real quick. So we start out 7th grade. Well, we did volleyball first because that's just kind of, you said, the family sport, right?
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you have other other family members that are active as well or that play sports besides your uncle?
No, no. So I think that was kind of one of the things that uh hindered me from joining sports. And I'm thinking back, and I do want to make a correction. I didn't join any sports sixth grade year, because sixth grade year was the first year in middle school. You want to get comfortable. And
Yeah,
then
just
seventh grade year is when I started joining,
kind
right?
of
So
opening up.
seventh grade, I joined volleyball. So we could cut all that what I said.
Oh, okay.
So
No, you're good.
seventh grade, I joined volleyball. Seventh grade, I joined volleyball. That was the first sport, family sport. Just because my uncle was a volleyball and football star.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to. Besides my uncle, no. Going back to your question, no, nobody in my family did sports. They liked watching, but they didn't do sports, and I think that's what contributed to me not really getting put into sports when I was a kid.
Yeah. Mhm.
Had to find it like I had to find out about sports growing up,
Yeah, it's
like
one of
while I
those.
was like going through things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if your home environment, right, or your kind of natural environment
Hmm.
is, not particularly involved in sports other than just watching it, you
Hmm.
kind of follow that
Yeah.
that trend. So it's good though that you found it pretty early too, it being seventh
Huh?
grade and stuff.
Uh, then
So that's really good.
And then so seventh grade, yeah, seventh grade volleyball. Did that. I did decent. That was a
Yeah.
good way to get me out there, get me involved into sports, and get me involved in like the camaraderie, the making friends, the
Yeah.
connections, and everything like that. And that's what I attribute sports to. Uh, Me as a person now, just being a people person, uh, quote unquote, having a lot of friends.
Yeah.
People always have always told me that, like, man, you have so many friends.
Yeah.
And I just think it's about making connection, right? So I've always felt that as a kid. I always wanted to make connections,
Yeah.
right? But
And I think with
so
sports
that helped.
too, you have that community, right? That's why CrossFit got
Yeah.
super popular, I think, when it first came out. It was just because it's not going to the gym by yourself or, whatever it is, it's a shared suffering. And so I think in sports, you have that common goal, but then during practice, when you're getting drilled and stuff like that, everyone, has to pay their dues. Everyone's got to put up or shut up. And so I think it does teach you a lot of lifelong lessons of, how to like hard work pays off, and how to
Yeah.
just be, a better sport about things. I want to ask though, so in seventh grade, so we did volleyball, we tried out for basketball, didn't make the team, and then you
Did make
gravitated
the team.
towards track and field. What was it about track and field that drew your attention?
Um, be, they were. I looked. So when I got cut from basketball, obviously I was devastated. I was wondering why I got cut. Um, and obviously the reason why I got cut is because I couldn't run. Right. So I was like, what sport can I run? Can I just work on running, work on my
Mm,
fitness? And track and field's is basically the Olympics, right? I
yeah.
already knew that. I don't know how I knew that, but I knew that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Right. So it's running, jumping, like throwing,
Throwing. Yep.
all that jazz. Right. So um I joined it, and the only reason why I joined it too is that they don't make cuts, so I wouldn't
Oh,
have
okay.
to be hurt again.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
everyone got
Guaranteed
accepted.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. Everyone got accepted, and as long as you're there to just show up, you're in track and field, right? So that's the reason why I joined it. Sadly, right?
Got
I'm
it.
sorry to all my track and field coaches that
This is the real
that
reason
think
I
I did
got
it for
into
the
it.
love of that I
Yeah.
did for the love of the game. I'm like, no, I only joined it because they don't cut, and
Yeah.
everyone's invited, right? But yeah, found a love for it, and you said working hard does pay off, right? Seventh grade year, I shared you that story. I shared the story where I just wanted to get better, and
Nice.
probably could keep that in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
With
yeah, I probably could keep that in there.
for
Yeah, go
sure.
ahead.
With high school then. So moving on to high school. So you doing track and field the whole 4 years?
Yes, I did. That was the
Yeah.
only sport I
You consistently
I
did.
did all 4 years of. Yeah. Hmm.
Nice. And then football, was football
Yep.
freshman and sophomore year? Because you said you did it for two, right?
Yeah. Yes, freshman year. Again, I just joined it because football is very popular at our old high school,
Yeah, yeah.
and I just did it. And my uncle was a football star. Also wanted to carry on the family name and be like, oh, Duckwitzes are good at football. Didn't found out it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Found out it
What
wasn't for
was it
me.
that made you realize that?
Um, So again, I coming going into my freshman year, you gain the weight back. You get the freshman 15, right? And I didn't do anything during summer. That's my fault. I didn't join anything during summer to keep in shape, right? So you just get more out of shape. When I joined football, when the out of shape guys, the bigger guys, are put on the offensive line, so that's the one that's just the ones they just get hit,
Yeah.
right? Uh, I was still small compared to them,
Some of the other ones, yeah.
right? Yeah, I was bigger. I was like 190 pounds, right? Um, but I was smaller, and everyone was like, what, 5'10", 6 foot,
Yeah.
like 260 pounds,
Huge,
right? So
just yeah.
yeah. So they're thinking in their head, they're like, okay, this guy can't run too fast. He's not, he's not the sharpest, right? He doesn't know football because it's my first year ever joining football, so I don't know any of the positions or anything. So we're just gonna put him on offensive line and then hope he gets bigger. Um, I did it for freshman year, and I paid my dues. It was fun enough freshman year. Sophomore year is where it kind of got a little because I came back my freshman year. So freshman year, football's in the first quarter. I did that, and then I wanted to try out for basketball again. Got cut, but that was more not just because not for conditioning wise. It was more
Just skill
for
set.
skill wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, skill wise, right? So got cut freshman year. Then I joined track and field again. A sport that I was uh looked at. I was looked at from high school coaches ever since I was in middle school because I did mention I was one of the top throwers in middle school. So they thought it would carry over. It did in a sense, right? So in middle school they only had shot put and discus. I don't know if people are familiar
Yeah.
with that. Shot put is the heavy bowl that they throw, and then the discus is just the disc, right? So they only had those two. I was good at the discus, but once I got to high school, it was I don't know if the weight changed or anything like that, but it was a totally different beast. I didn't grab it like they were like, oh, he was the best discus thrower, one of the best discus throwers in middle school. He'll probably be one of the best discus throwers in high
In high
school.
school, yeah.
So yeah, so I did that, found out I wasn't.
Yeah.
Then I found javelin, and it's so funny too because I started off not because you don't know what javelin is. I never knew what a javelin was. I literally just teased it that it was a spear. So I'm
Yeah.
just gonna try to throw the spear right as far as I can. Didn't know any of the techniques. Uh, so I remember I remember my first ever track and field meet. No, we'll say that story because you asked me why do you only did 2 years of football.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I only did 2 years of football because when I came back sophomore year, I lost weight.
Oh,
I
okay.
lost weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it wasn't good being on the offensive line and you're not
Being lighter
like
and
when
getting
you're
hit
160
still.
pounds. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
160
yeah.
pounds. Yeah, right. So I tried out for a different position. I tried out for a different position, and I don't want to badmouth anyone. I tried out for a different position in football. Uh, didn't work out in that one, but they put me back to the offensive line, and apparently to our coach, that's like a form of like mutiny. I betrayed them, so my whole sophomore year they kind of made it hell for me. I
Okay.
remember there's this one drill. It's called a sled drill, and what it is there's like a little chute. You go under, you squat, and then you explode up to hit the person on the other side of the chute. So what it is there's a line here. There's a person that's gonna get hit here. They go through the chute, get hit, and then the person that gets hit goes in line, and then the person who just hit
So they kind of
gets in the line to
take
get hit.
turns. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a rotation, right? So I remember going back to offensive line, them telling me that I'm like a traitor because I betrayed them. Um, and so I remember doing that drill the next day. So I went through the chute, got hit, and then I stood or hit the person that was on the other side of the chute. So I went to take the place of the person that got hit. The person that came hit me. We hit. So I was going back to the line,
Next in line,
and my
yeah.
coach, the offensive coach was like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm
Oh.
going back in line. Isn't that the drill?" And he goes,
Yeah.
"No, stay there until I tell you you're done."
Oh, wow. Yeah, so he's really trying to,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
teach you
yeah.
that lesson of, like, you don't go anywhere, you
Yeah,
stay
like,
loyal
yeah,
to
yeah,
yeah.
yes. So I think I went through everyone, and these guys are my like one of my close friends. Like they're all like my close friends, and they just like, sorry, Cam, coach told me to do this, right?
So there was that
So they go
compassion
through the shit, and
of,
they,
"Dude, this isn't
yeah,
anything
yeah,
personal." Yeah.
yeah, and then my one of my friends, like I went through the shoot like I think 2 or 3 times, and then my one of the bigger guys, um, he's like, Cameron, I'm gonna hit you, but the second time I'm gonna hit you the first time, and I'm gonna go hard because coach said, but the second time I won't hit you as hard, like I'll just be soft, right? And I was just there, just being mad, right? Just being frustrated, being mad, and kind of sad, and then after I went through the shoot like 3 times, I was just like I just had it. I was just mad. So I was like getting ready to hit everyone. And then he like, get out of the line. Right. The coach is like, get out of the line. And
Yeah.
then he's like, Duckwitz, how grade are you? And I'm like, I'm a sophomore. And he goes, you're a freshman to me. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Oh,
Right. I don't
damn.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that year just put a sour taste in my mouth. I remember going like after every football practice, just like going to my mom's car, crying, like just tears, not crying, but I was
But yeah.
tearing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
my mom was like, yeah, my mom's like, if you hate it that much, why don't you just quit? And I said, no, mom, I'll just go throughout the year, like the quarter, I'll finish it off. I don't want to be known as a quitter. I'll just finish it off and I just won't join next year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah, man.
it's crazy. I mean, I get it, in terms of because football, like you were saying too, is such a popular sport, right? I think everywhere, but definitely GW, high school, and all that stuff. And so I think you did, decently well at freshman year, and they're like, okay, he can take the hits, and then you try out a different
Uh-huh.
position, and they're like, feel a little bit betrayed. So I think there's something to be said of staying loyal, but then it's crazy that they had you line up and just repeatedly getting hit, and not being able to like rotate
Yeah.
out. And then when it was your time and you're all like pissed off and ready to go, fired up, they're like, get out of line, So all that energy you had built up of like, I'm ready to just like smash, you have
Mhm.
nowhere to put it.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's crazy.
yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
man. And that, it's not, that was just one instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was many, the whole
The whole
quarter
season. Yeah.
was kind of like, yes, will be more of, like my coach would, again, I don't want to badmouth him because I still say hi to him. Like if I were to see him today, I'll say hi. I respect him. But, he was the reason why I never joined again. And, he'll still be in games. And I think I'm going to go in like, cause they need like a sub, and he'll be like, Duckwitz. No, never mind.
Oh,
Say never mind.
dang. So just kind of tease you a bit.
Yeah. 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 And then so I'll just be like, what am I even doing here? Right. So I have many stories like that. I have many stories of our coaches, like not just in football, but everywhere in other sports where they I don't know what it was, but they would just do things like that. Right. But for football, yeah, that was I was like, yeah, this is not the sport for me. I don't
Yeah.
even love it. And the
Yeah.
only reason why I tried out for different positions is because I lost weight and I felt like, hey, I could do other things. I could run.
Yeah. It opens it up a little bit.
Sorry, I started getting faster. Yeah, I started getting faster. So that's why I tried out for other positions. But football was just too stacked in every position. We had too many good players like ahead, so you can't really like shine. So they'll just put you
Yeah.
back.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
Because I remember, so for me in high school, the only sport I've ever joined was cross country, and that was senior year.
hmm
And I
yes,
remember
I remember.
initially, yeah, yeah,
I
initially I
remember.
wanted to join football actually, which was funny, because I started working out and
Yeah.
gained a little bit of weight, come like
Hmm.
junior, senior year. So I was like, okay, let me try football. And I wanted to join, but then I don't know if you remember Dustin.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
so
in the
so he was in cross, and him and I were pretty close, and he was like, let's go join. And I was like, all right, cool, I'm down. So I show up to like the first practice, and it was still during the summer because I think cross is the first quarter sport, if I'm not mistaken.
yes.
Yeah.
First
So
quarter sport with
um,
football.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there's a funny story with there. I will get back to that after you're
Okay, cool, cool.
there's a funny story with there. Yeah.
But
Go ahead.
I remember wanting to join football. Dustin was like, "Oh, let's do cross." And he had done it before, and it's like, "All right, yeah, I'm down." And so I go to the practice. He's not there, and I remember showing up. It was summer. It was early in the morning, and it was at like, I think it was like a Ganya Wendy's.
Wendy's.
Yeah, the parking lot.
Daniel Wendy's.
Yep.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I remember showing up,
I
and
remember, man. I ran with you. Like
yeah,
coach, our coach, because I was the cross country captain.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and our coach was like, Cameron, we have new people. We have a new guy. His name's Joe. I was like, oh yeah, I know Joe. And he goes, oh, you're gonna run with him. You're gonna you're gonna pace him.
yeah, yeah,
Not gonna lie, I was a little peeved just because I was a little irritated just because I had goals for myself
yeah. Your own
being an
individual.
established runner because I joined my junior year, and that's the story I'm gonna save for later on
Oh,
when we
okay,
get
yeah, yeah,
back on track. But yeah, but I was a little peeved just because not at you, but I was peeved just because I'm like I have goals that I need to hit, and I was supposed to run by like myself or like
yeah.
yeah, just so that I can achieve the goal, right? To hit my
Your
times.
times. Yeah, yeah,
All right, but like our coach, his name was Joffrey.
yeah. Coach Joff.
Yeah, Coach Joffrey. He was like, Cameron, that's part of being a captain, right? You have to do those kinds of things. And I was like, sure, that's fine, whatever, right? So yeah, go ahead, tell your story with the cross country
No, I was just gonna
because I
say.
remember it.
So I remember joining and expecting Dustin to be there, and he
Yeah,
didn't show up. And I remember asking him like, "Oh, what's going on? Are you still gonna join?" And he's like, "Oh no, I'm really involved in ROTC right now." And I think he ended up joining the Air Force, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember that's
right after he's doing
one of
really
his
well for
goals.
himself. Yeah,
Yeah. So I just
yeah,
remember thinking like, "Oh man, I don't even like running." Like I ran probably a few times, like just on my own, and didn't run far. Probably ran like a
yeah,
couple miles, but um, ended up really liking it. It was a really fun
mm,
time. But that's what I remember
yeah,
joining was you were up there. You were fast.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You were efficient, and I was just like, and so I wanted to. That's what I was going to actually segue into is how did you get more into running, and what time was that?
Oh wow, so because I
Yeah,
was just
yeah.
you just
See,
like
we're
hit
think
all the
great minds
stories in
think
my
alike
head.
for
Yeah,
sure, dude.
yeah. But I do want to tell the story when you first came on board because I do remember it, and again, my our coach is like, this part of being a captain is you get to show you have to do these kinds of things for our new runners. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine, right? I'll do that. Take the responsibility. And I remember you taking you on a run, and I feel bad for you because it was one of our longer runs, and it was going from Agania to Moring, and that's a run. That's a long run.
Yeah,
That's a long
yeah,
run too. Yeah, that's a long run for someone who's new,
yeah.
right? And our coaches were just crazy like that. Um, and again, it's crazy, yes, but then it helps you grow, right? It helps you get better, right? So I was running with you, and I remember, I do specifically remember, like even in middle school, I knew you had asthma, right?
Yeah.
And we were running together, and like I hear you just huffing and puffing, and I was like, Joe, are you good? And then you're like, no, bro, I think I'm having an asthma attack. And I said, oh, what the heck? I was like, what the heck? And it was me and you, and then I think maybe two other people, maybe the Daughtries, maybe the Daughtry twins,
Oh yeah,
maybe.
yeah, yeah.
Because I
Alex and
remember
Sierra.
telling someone, and I was like, where's your inhaler? And you're like, dude, I left it back at a Ganya. And I said, oh my God, we have to go back, right? And I was like, dude, just I only know about asthma attacks because my mom has asthma as well. So like I was like, okay, you just relax, just focus on your breathing. I'll go run back and get your inhaler. So I told one of our
Like,
teammates, like, hey,
yeah.
watch him, let him watch it, help his breathing and everything like that, and I'll go back and get my inhaler, like his inhaler. And then obviously being a young dude, I'm kind of like irritated. I'm like, I gotta run back, grab this guy's inhaler, come back, right?
Yeah.
So I
And
grabbed
then
your
still got
inhaler,
to run
I
back
ran
after all
back,
of that.
all right, yeah, I still gotta run back, yeah, right. So um, and then I remember asking you, I said, Joe, you had asthma, man. Uh, like like why did you want to join cross country if you had asthma? and then I don't know if you remember what you said.
I'm trying
I
to
don't know if you
remember, but I
remember what
do
you said,
remember
but
this happening.
I remember what you said. And in hindsight, it's flattering, but in the time, I was like,
What the hell?
why? Why'd you think that?
Yeah.
So I asked, you had asthma and you joined cross. Why did you do that? And you're like, I don't know, Cal. I just wanted to join cross country. It's my last year, and I just figured if you could do it, I could do it too. And then I said, Joe, I joined, I joined last year to
I actually
condition
now I
myself to.
remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then I said, bro, it can't. I'm like, you can't. And I'm the captain. You
Yeah.
can't.
You can't just
I'm like,
expect
you
to be
can't expect
great
it.
at the start.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I just remember drawing back to you, and we were walking. We were walking and talking, and I was just thinking, I was like, this guy thought just because I joined it, he could do it.
Yeah.
And I remember being a little irritated at that. Just because I've been on a side note, on a sidebar, um, I've always felt like people kind of poo-pooed my accomplishments. It's like, oh, you're not really good. I could have done that if I wanted to, right? And those
Why do you
are
think
other
that?
stories you can get into. And right now, in hindsight, like I said, I feel like I'm so relatable to everyone, and people can see themselves like, oh, if Cameron can do it, I can do it too. You can take it as a form of disrespect, but you can also take it as a form of like flattery and like, oh wow, you really
Yeah.
inspired someone to do those kinds of things, right? Back then I took everything as a slight. I told you I'm a competitive person. Anything you told me, I would spin it in my own head to be like, this guy disrespecting me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
he's
to fuel
disrespecting me, so
you.
I'm gonna show you. Yeah, just to
Yeah.
fuel it, right? And I'm I was crazy like that. I was crazy like that, right? So back then I took your words as like, dude, I can't believe this guy like just disrespected me. Like he thinks
Yeah.
I could do it just because. Yeah, but again in hindsight, now that I look at it, you remember me as like the chunky kid too that got good, that
They got,
got
yeah.
better,
Hmm.
right? So you saw the improvement that I made,
Yeah.
and that's what you meant. You meant
Yeah.
like I could improve too, and I took that wrong, and I should
No,
have. But
you're good.
that was my story. That was my story.
No, that dude, I forgot about that. I think a lot of this is maybe trauma blocking because there's certain things
Well,
where
no,
I'm like,
yeah,
I remember that briefly, and then like I'll run it back with whoever, last episode I just had Joe Mandiola, and we talked about being in middle school and playing in a band called 678, and I think we did the eighth grade ball with like me, him, and some other friends, but I hadn't thought about those
that
things
was
in
there.
so long. Yeah, yeah, I hadn't thought about those things in
Yeah,
so long, and hearing this story too of the run with the inhaler thing, it brought back memories, and now that you're mentioning this, it I'm like reliving it, and
yeah,
there's I definitely what you were saying too, what I told you of why I joined, because you did it, I can do it, and then you were saying a lot
hmm
of what you kind of felt kind of maybe overlooked sometimes with certain things, your accomplishments were kind of downplayed a bit.
hmm
I think there's two ways definitely to look at it, of what you said, of it's, oh, if Cam can do it, who's this guy? I could do it. Anyone can do it. But more of like, oh, well, Cam's made all this progress and that's inspiring me. And so I remember from middle school and then into high school, I remember seeing so much, because the weight gain's the obvious thing, right? Because physically you look different, right? And so throughout the
Yeah,
years, I
obviously.
did notice you were losing weight, and you got really in shape. But then the thing that I've always remembered, even if it wasn't like towards the end of high school where you were in, better shape than you were sixth grade or anything like that, right? I do remember you being just like this absolute unit of a athlete, because you did everything. I remember seeing you in football. I remember, but you also weren't just doing that. You were doing, basketball, you were doing cross, you were doing track, you were doing volleyball, all of that stuff. And you were also really good, academically. So you were
Oh
really
yeah,
smart, you
thanks,
know what I
man.
mean?
Appreciate it.
I think we had like a couple of
Yeah.
honors classes together, in like junior, senior year, but I do remember like, damn, this guy's like a well-rounded individual, you know what I mean? And so that's what
Yeah.
really inspired me of like, because all I did prior to that was just music, and I was this real
Mhm.
skinny, lanky kid, and then got into working out like more seriously, like in junior year. And I remember thinking like, okay, I can't just be so like one track minded of just having music. Like I looked at a lot of different friends or a lot of people I knew of, well, they're doing all these things. They're not just doing one thing, and I think I was scared to try anything new because I remember as a kid, I did try new things, but I sucked. I played, I tell this story every now and then, but I played baseball as a kid. I played one
Mhm.
season, not even a full season. My dad put me in baseball because my uncle was the coach. And so I didn't like baseball. I didn't like sports growing up. I was more into music, but my dad wanted me to do it. So I joined one of the practices, hated it so much. I was probably like fifth grade. And my cousin
Mhm.
was on the team. And so, and his that was his dad, who was the coach. So he favorited him all the time. And I didn't like that. But I remember my dad calling me up the day of our first game. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna come pick you up. Are you ready?" And then I remember telling him, "I don't want to go." He's like, "Why?" And I said, "I quit." So I quit the day of our first game. So I never technically played like baseball,
Wow.
in the season. I
Yeah.
practiced all up until
Yeah.
the first game, and then I played soccer for a couple seasons, tried out all these things, and I wasn't the best at it. I have all these stories too, just like yourself of like the past, but I just remember being really scared to try anything. And then with music was kind of the only thing where I felt I was good at. I played guitar, I sang, and did open mics and
You were
stuff.
good.
Uh,
You
Thank
were
you.
good.
I guess I was good, not anymore. I'd say, but no.
You stopped it or?
I still do it. I still do it. Not like I don't go
Okay.
out and like perform or anything like that, but I still play every now and then. But I've just gotten into like a lot of other things nowadays that music's kind of on the shelf a bit. But no, so my thing was I was really scared to try anything new, only because I was scared to fail. But then seeing you throughout the years, it reminded me like, dude, you can try out new things and fail, but then you can still try new things and actually succeed and then make progress. And so, like you said with the freshman 15, right? Of you were in shape, right? Like in better shape in eighth grade because of the
Eighth
sports
grade.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
freshman year, you gained a little bit of weight because everybody does. You didn't let that
Mhm.
stop you. You didn't let that stop you. You didn't let, sophomore year football stop you, of being kind of punished for wanting to try something new. You didn't let, getting cut from any teams, any sports or anything like that stop you. So that's what really impressed me. And at least by that time, because that was our senior year for cross, that's what made me, want to stick with it. Because originally I got into
Mhm.
it because like I said, Dustin, but then I stuck with it
Mhm.
because I saw just how great everyone was. Like everyone on the team was awesome. And that was the first
Yeah.
time I was really a part of a team. But yeah, seeing you, I was like, oh, okay, that's why he's captain. You know what I mean? Because he goes above and beyond. And yeah, the fact that you ran back to go get my inhaler and then saw to run, I thought that was hilarious. But I do remember that. I do remember
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
run,
man.
which is crazy. The funny thing
I
too,
yeah.
the funny thing too
Good.
about all of
Good.
this is I did it hating running. Like I hated running at the time. And then as I got older, out of high school and stuff, I got really into running. Like last or no, this year, I ran, well, it was a half marathon, but I ran the Eugene half marathon and just got really into it. And then being with Jazz and stuff, my wife, which Jazz, she's a runner by heart. And so we'd go on runs and stuff. And I remember when we first met going on runs, she smoked me because she was really good. And so I just ended up getting better. But yeah, that's what I definitely remember in terms of like how I viewed you, as somebody who didn't let any of these things stop him and just was focused on getting even that 1% better, each day. And yeah, so that's fun though that you brought up that story.
Yeah, yeah.
Pivoting from cross, so you did cross, you did track, you did all the sports, right?
Yeah.
Was
And
there any?
I know that you had a question I know that you had a question. So like what got me into running after,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah,
yeah, what got me into running, what made you want to, because I was in football and you're like, what transitioned you into like track and field and then cross country, right? So I told you freshman year, I was the only freshman to make the all island team for track and field through with javelin. Uh, and I want to say, I want to tell you a story about regarding like getting better. I think my whole life is a blueprint to just working, like not giving up on yourself, working hard, and it'll pay off in the end eventually, right? Because again, I go from, I tell you that I'm the only freshman to make all island in for javelin. Um, the All Island team, but I don't tell like everyone where it first started because everyone thinks I'm just good.
yeah,
I was just good like that, right? So I remember my first ever meet, not even knowing what I'm gonna do. They gave up on me on discus because I could not throw the discus for. I went from being one of the best throwers in middle school, to not even knowing how to throw it in high school. And I think it was just a weight shift because the weight is heavier, right? So I wasn't good at anything and I wasn't too strong. Um, my freshman year, I wasn't too strong. So they dated like, let's try javelin out. And I'm like, what's javelin? The spear? And then they're like,
yeah,
yes, throw the spear. And I'm like, how do you throw it? And my coach, granted, honestly, I still talk to him today. Love him. I love him to death. His name's Coach J Antonio. Um, legend in track and field for Guam, right? And to his credit, he only really cares. It's funny because he only really cares about you if you're good, right? So if you're not good, he doesn't really care,
yeah. You're not
right?
on the radar.
So when I asked him how do I throw it, he's like, I don't know, figure it out. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. So I remember my first ever open meet. It's not a official meet. It's just like an open meet, just to practice, just to try it. I was in line. I'm like, I don't even know how I'm gonna throw this, and I'm watching other people throw it, and I'm like, is that how you throw it? Okay, that person did this, that person did that. Let me
Yeah,
try throwing it. First ever throw of my career, my track and field career for javelin. I throw it, and the javelin's long, right? So you don't know, like I couldn't gauge that. I don't have depth perception. I don't have
okay,
anything, so I'm just
yeah.
going off of everything. So I threw it the way everyone else threw it, but when I threw it, I hit the back of my head with the with the with the javelin, and the javelin's hollow. Yeah, the
Yeah.
javelin's hollow, and it makes like a sound when you hit it. So it was like a dum,
Well,
right
dang. Yeah.
off the back of my head. I threw it, hit my head, dum, threw it, hit, and it fell, right, short distance. What girls throw.
Yeah.
Everyone, everyone laughing at me. Everyone's laughing, and then they record it, or like they measure it, and then they yell the distance, right?
You're
So
like, you don't
that's how
have
it
to
goes.
actually, we're
No,
good.
they yell it, right? So they
Yeah.
yell the distance, and I remember it being a girl's distance, right? I didn't have to run too far and you have to run to go get your javelin. I ran, didn't have to run too far, right? And everyone's laughing, and I'm just laughing too because I'm like, ha ha ha, trying to
Yeah.
uh make it, just like try to lighten the situation. I told you I was more of a jokester. I didn't take things too serious, just so that I can have people laugh with me, not laugh at me. But so I was just like, yeah, guys, I don't know how to throw it. I just
My
tried.
first
I don't know,
time.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, right. My first time, and then I just remember everyone laughing, and then I'm laughing too. But in the internal, my internal
Dialogue.
thoughts,
Yeah.
my internal, like what I'm thinking, I am screaming. I'm like, you are laughing at me.
Yeah.
I'll show
I'll
you.
show you. Yeah, yeah.
I'll show you. Right. So I don't know how I kept continuing to just throw it. My coach didn't have anything else for me to do, right? So he's just teaching me how to throw this javelin. And it came to a point where uh there was meets. We already had 3 or 4 meets for school, like for competing against other schools or already in the season. And I remember making friends in the lines with other people, because you stand in line and wait to throw, and you stand in line and wait to throw with other people from other
Other
schools,
schools, yeah.
right? And so you make friends with them, right? And you see them every week. So I remember talking to some of my friends and them being like, I think this will be my last meet, guys. I think I'm gonna quit track, and track and field, and everyone's like, dude, why? Why are you gonna quit, man? Don't quit. We're already in the middle of the season. I'm like, I'm not good at anything. I can't throw this. I don't even know how to throw this. I am not. I see improvements, but only by a little. Not and the distances are in meters, right? So,
Mhm.
um, top girls usually throw like 22s, 24 meters. That's the top girls. I was throwing within that range, like 19 to 22,
Oh, in the beginning, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning, right? And I wasn't getting any better. I didn't feel like I was getting any better. Um, I remember being in line telling them, this is my last meet, guys. I'm not going to join track and field anymore. Again, still freshman year, so everything like this, right? So my friends are like, I don't think you should quit, man. The other my friends from the other schools, I don't think you should quit. I think you should stick it out. And I'm like, now I'm gonna quit. I'm not good at it. I'm not good at anything. Well, why would I stay in something I'm not good at? Right. And then I remember them calling my name to throw. And I was like, here we go, guys. I'm gonna throw.
Yeah.
Right. And again, you pick up everything, right? You're learning as you go throughout the season. Right. My coach was like teaching me some things, right? But I felt like I wasn't getting it. But I don't know, at this point I just threw caution to the wind. I was like, you know what? It's my last meet anyways. I'm gonna quit. It's my last throw. And they call me up to throw. Next up to throw, Cam Dudkiewicz. And I'm like, all right, guys, this is it. I'm done. Right, this is my last throw. And then they're like, don't say that, Cam, don't say that, right? And I just go to the runway, because there's a runway before you throw. And I have the javelin, and I'm like, okay, let's just try to put everything together that you've learned up to this point. And then I don't know, everything clicked in that moment. I relaxed, and I don't know what happened, what came over me, but um, when I threw it, it was the farthest distance I've ever thrown it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Do you remember
I
what it
think
was?
yes, I do. So because again, it's just I remember I feel like I have a really good memory, and I feel like I remember things that are very important to me, and what everyone is. Everyone does that. They remember the moments that are important to them, right? And this was an important moment to me, because I was gonna quit. Threw it far, and I was like, oh, that's kind of farther than I thought. And then I kind of again I damper my I damper my expectations. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's probably like a 25, 26,
Hmm.
because it was the farthest I've ever thrown before. I was like, maybe it's like a 25, 26. So I wait for them to tell me I'm good to go get my javelin. So they say, okay, you're good, right? Then they call out the distance sense, 30, and uh, everyone. I just remember all my friends in line. Yo, what? And then everyone's like just
Just
not
cheering.
applause, but they're just like
Yeah.
cheering me on, and I'm like, 30. And then so that meet, I was the first freshman to ever throw a 30 meters for that
Wow.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty big. And that immediately catapulted me into like the top. So to make all island, you have to be in the top 12 throwers. So that immediately catapulted me to like top 10. I was probably like
Nice.
6 or 8 as a freshman,
As a freshman,
right?
yeah, that's crazy.
And my coach, and it's the throwing field. It's a resort in Guam, Leo Palace, right?
Mhm.
It's a field separated from the track, right? So you have to drive down to the field and then drive back up to the track. So my coach, the way he gets the info, right? He has like another person, like an assistant coach, like stand like where the fielders throw, like in the field, and then drive us back up, and then he just reports to him like what we threw, right? And then like, oh, Cameron threw this, and he's now in like all islands. So I just remember that moment. The next or that meet when I threw and I went back up to the track to see my coach. My coach is like, uh, he nicknamed me Russia because my last name. He's like, Russia, come here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I was like, yes, coach. And he goes, you threw 30 meters? And I was like, yes, coach. And then he's like, okay, get out of here. So I went back to the team. Then the very next practices, it was one-on-one coaching. Like I
Saw that
remember I
potential.
told you yeah, I remember I told you he did not pay any attention to me until I did that. And after then it was one-on-one coaching. He came with everything. Like it wasn't halfway through the season, maybe beginning, maybe 2 or 3 meets. Because we still had a long way to go. But every practice, every day, he's a running coach. So I thought he would focus more on the runners. He just gave the runners their like, okay, runners, you guys are doing this, this, and this. Russia,
Let's go.
or throwers, you're doing this. Fielders, you're doing this. Russia, you're with me. I'm like,
Wow.
oh. And I was like, whoa, what are we doing? And he goes, well, we're going to get you better. And I looked up so he did all these research on these drills for me to do, like work on my footwork, work on my speed, work on like my explosiveness, because that's what you need for javelin is like all this, right? And it's a lot more complicated. So we'd be doing one-on-one drills, and everyone in my team was like, I think Cameron's coach's favorite. And I'm just like, no, guys, you guys don't see like he's coaching me like hard, like dude, there'll be times where he's like yelling at me and everything like that, and like he does this thing where he slaps the back of your neck like when you don't listen. He's like, you didn't listen when I told you, right? And I'm getting berated every day at practice, and then they're telling me that I'm the favorite. I'm like, guys, I'm not the favorite. What are you guys talking about? I'm getting berated every day, right? But I didn't see that again in hindsight. You look back, you're like, oh, I was favorite.
That,
and I remember, yeah, and I remember one practice, I threw out my back. I threw out my back in freshman year. I threw out my back so bad that I couldn't even, it was hard to walk, to lift my knees.
Oh, damn.
And I remember my coach, like, I remember I got that injury. My coach goes, I can't believe how old are you? I'm like 14. And he's like, you're 14 and you threw out your back? What kind of 14-year-old throws out their back? And he goes, you know why you did that? You know why you threw out your back? And I'm like, why, coach? And he goes, because you're fat. And I'm like,
oh, dang.
Like, I'm like, yeah, you're right. You're right. He goes, he's like, you're not, you're like, you didn't build your strength up enough, right? So I remember like coming to practice every day, and I said, oh, coach, I don't think I'm gonna come to practice tomorrow then. And he goes, why? You come to practice every day? And I'm like, oh, even when I threw out my back? And he goes, yes, right. So I come to practice the next day. He has like the icy hot, and then he's like telling me to lay down on this stuff, and he's like really like getting into like my back, and I was like, I was just like screaming, like, no, coach, stop, it's okay. And he's like, no, we're trying to get you better. We're trying to get you back to you can heal, right? Like you heal faster, right? So he did all this research for me. I remember when I threw on my back, he did all those massages, and then I was back in like a couple of weeks, which was pretty good. And then he just like, again, just more one-on-one coaching. I tell him I have, man, my elbow started hurting, coach. And he'll be like, oh yeah, it's because you're throwing, the motion is like tennis. Elbow, so it's called tennis elbow. Yeah. So he got me a tennis elbow band. And again, it just helped, the narrative of like, I'm coach's favorite. Like,
special treatment.
I got all this, did all these things. He used to tape me up my hands before the meets so I can have better grip on the javelin to throw. But I say that all to say, right, once the all island of meet happened, I finished 5th place freshman year. I was top 5 freshman year. as a freshman. Then going into sophomore year, I joined football again. Found out it wasn't for me. Um, then uh, I wanted to try out for basketball again. Was it basketball? No, it was volleyball after volleyball. It was volleyball after football. Volleyball, I wanted to try out again because I was like, oh, I haven't played since middle school. I didn't get a chance to because volleyball and track and field are the same quarter. So I'm like, and that year they switched it, and second quarter was volleyball. And I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
oh wow, I get to try volleyball out too. Um, and I missed playing volleyball, so I went back to playing volleyball. Made varsity as a sophomore.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, made varsity as a sophomore. But then got moved down just because we had seniors we had seniors in the incoming, right? And my coach is like, Cameron, do you mind moving down to JV? Um, to junior varsity because we have seniors and I don't want seniors to be in JV, right? And you have 2 years. You'll be varsity next year if you join. And I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, that's fine. And he goes, we'll make you swing. So swing, you can play JV and varsity.
Oh,
So
okay.
you'll play one set of JV and one set of varsity. I was like, no, coach, don't put me swing because I just felt like that was too complicated. I was like, I'll just be JV. Played it, enjoyed it, loved it. Um, I did really well. Then joined basketball again, even though I got cut my freshman year. Joined basketball again, made the team. Again, made the team, and then became a starter
Starter. Yeah.
immediately. Yeah, immediately for JV. I made JV team, and then and then after, so it's volleyball, then basketball, then track and field. Went back to track and field. I have a lot more notoriety in that community, right? Everyone knows me as like, oh wow, this is a freshman kid that won
This is the
that
guy.
was top 5
Yeah.
last year. Yeah, top 5 last year. So my coach again, my same coach, did the same thing. Worked with me one on one. Um, uh, and I really thought that year was the year, man. I really thought that year was the year I was gonna medal or
Yeah.
place or
Take
something,
it.
at least be in the top 3,
Mhm.
right? Top 3. So I go throughout that season. I'm good. I'm doing well. Obviously, I make it again, and then the all island meet, I get 4th place. Right, improvement.
Still,
Right,
yeah. Moving
hindsight,
up a place. Yeah, yeah.
improvement. But I was devastated. I was devastated. I felt like my coach wasted so much time on me, like one on one coaching, all these like workouts he researched and everything like that. I thought he wasted so much time on me. And I just felt like a failure, even though I improved. Right,
Yeah,
but I
you
still felt
got
like a
better,
failure
but
just
you
because
felt
I had a because yeah
yeah.
because I had the goal to be first, second, or third place. Right, that was the goal, and I didn't make it. Right, so I come up and I'm crying. Right, my coach is my I'm crying, but I'm trying to hide it from my coach. And we had a practice right after the all island meet, and then he called me over and he's like, Russia, come over here. I came over and he's like, I heard that you were crying after throwing. Why? Why were you crying? And I was like, because I let you down, coach. I didn't medal. And he goes, what place did you get? I'm like, I got 4th place. And he goes, you don't think that's good? And I'm like, I didn't medal. I wanted to medal for you, right? I felt like I wasted your time. And he goes, what place were you last year? And I was like, 5th place. And he goes, and what place were you this year? I'm like, 4th place. And he goes, you don't think that's an improvement? And I'm like, he was just yelling at me. And I don't remember why he was yelling at us. So I started tearing. And he goes, you're so selfish. You think you're just going to be really great. You're just going to be
Mhm.
really good at once, right? You think that's just how it happens? And he goes, you should be thankful or grateful, right? That you make it this far. There's seniors that you're beating, and this their last year. You don't have a chance to improve. You have 2 more years, and you're crying about being 4th place. Like, be wow about he's just
Yeah,
teasing,
yeah,
like yelling at me, but teasing me at the same time. He's like, you're crying about being 4th place, right? And he goes, And you're not. You're so selfish. You think that that's not improvement. That's improvement, right? And he goes, and if you want to be the top, if you want to be in like the top thrower, you know what you need to do. And I was like, "What, coach?" And he goes, "You need to stop being fat."
He
I'm like,
goes
"Oh."
back to that. Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, yeah," because I was losing weight, but I was still chunky, right? And he goes, and he's not saying body shaming me. He's saying fat as in not in shape.
Yeah.
Like you need to be better conditioned, right?
Stronger, all of that. Yep.
So he's like faster, yeah, right? And he's like, especially for javelin, you need to be faster. You need to be lighter on your feet. He's like, you need to be less fat. So he's like, you have to be less fat. And you know how you be less fat? You have to be lighter on your feet. And you know how you be lighter on your feet? I'm like, what, coach? And then he goes, you join cross country. And I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
I have to join cross country now, right? I have to join cross country.
Yeah.
And I never thought I was gonna join cross country in my life, man. Like I'm like you. I don't hate running, but I just felt like why would you join a
What's the
sport that
point?
just runs? Yeah,
Yeah.
what's the point of just running, right? What's the point of doing all this, right? So junior year happens. This is my sophomore year. So junior year happens. You start training for the sport in first quarter in the summer. And all the football guys are my friends. And they think that I'm coming back and joining football,
Yeah.
right? And so they keep texting me, Cameron, where are you at? How come you're not at tryouts? How come you're not at practice? Little did they know, I told them I quit. Like, in my mind, I
I'm
already
not joining
quit.
again.
I was
Yeah.
like, bro, I already did football, man. I told you that was my last year. I didn't tell anyone, but I told myself, I was like, that was my last year, right? So I'm trying to get better at a sport I'm actually good at. Right. So my coach tells me to join cross country. I join cross country. I do all the training. And I remember my first practice was a 5K. And this is me not being in the best shape. I'm still in some decent shape, but not the best. Still, I think I'm like 175, 180 at this point. Right. And that's what I'm always going to teeter at. So like I'm running and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. 5K, I'm dying. My first ever practice is a 5K, and I never ran a 5K in my life. And I remember junior year it was rough, man. It was rough from being a person that didn't run at all. And I'm on the heavier side still, right? So it was hard on my body. I was always hurting every day. I developed this thing on my hip. My hip was like hurting, and I didn't know why it was hurting. I had to go to the hospital. Like that's how
Wow.
bad it was hurting. Um, I remember telling my teammates too I was gonna quit because
Oh, okay.
all these girls are beating me. I'm the worst runner on our team, like one of the worst guys on our team, and I'm like, I'm gonna quit. I'm hurting. I'm injured. I'm getting beat by girls. This is crazy, right? And we're running 5Ks every day. That's our meets. We're
Yeah.
running 5Ks. That's what it is. That's the race. And I remember telling my teammates that, and my teammates, granted the Daughtry twins, I love them, right? They're like, Cameron, don't quit. Like you're gonna get better and everything like that. I'm like, dude, you guys are beating me. You guys are girls. And she goes,
Yeah.
Cameron, we're good runners. And I'm like, I know you guys are good runners, but I'm being beat by girls. Like this is embarrassing to me. Like I'm I'm the worst dude on our team, right? And I'm going to the hospital today, like just to check on my hip. Something's wrong with my hip. All right, so I have that all in my head, right? I'm gonna quit and everything like that. I go to the doctor. I go to the doctors, and the doctor does like an X-ray and a scan on me to see if anything's broken or if there's any like torn muscle or anything like that. And the doctor comes out and they're like, so sir, we have your results. There's nothing wrong with your hip. And then I was like, are you sure? Because it really hurts. And then they're like, have you been doing anything out of the ordinary that you usually don't do? And I'm like, yeah, I joined cross country. And then the doctor's like, well, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Your body's just not strong enough to handle that, right? So, but the only way to get stronger is you just have to keep doing it. So that, AKA, stop being a bitch, just do it. Right?
Or in Coach
That's
J's,
literally what the doctor was. the doctor, no, the doctor was literally like telling me that because he was a buff guy doctor, and he was like, you should just
Yeah.
do it.
Just
And I
suck
was like,
my,
this guy's calling me a bitch, man.
yeah. Or
Right?
in
So
the words of Coach
I
Jay,
go,
just be less fat. That's how you get better at it.
yeah, be less fat, man. Be less fat, right? So it's so funny. I tell him that, and he doesn't remember, and he doesn't want to admit it. But I'm like, no, coach, don't worry. Those words like really stuck. It didn't hurt me. It made me better, right? So I was dealing with that hip stuff, and once I found out that my hip wasn't, that's what I was worried about, was my hip was like hurting or something.
Yeah.
And freaking so they told me there's nothing wrong, and I was like, oh, okay. I still might quit though because I'm still not doing really well,
Yeah.
right? So so I went to the doctor. We went through practice. I'm still contemplating on quitting, and then we had the race, right? There was the race day came, and I just remember being in line. I'm like, it's gonna be my last race. I'm gonna quit. Let's just go balls to the wall. Let's
Yeah.
go as hard as you can. Fuck whatever this hip is, right? So I just kept punching my hip. I just
Yeah.
kept punching my hip, and my teammates were like, "Why are you punching your hip?" I'm like, "Cause it fucking hurts." So I'm fighting pain with pain.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I'm just like, yeah. So I'm just like punching my hip the whole time, before the run, and then when the gun started, I told myself, "Hey, balls to the wall, just fucking do it. This is your last race, right?" Did it, last race. So I told you I was the slowest runner. My best time for a 5K before that race was 26 minutes. I was the slowest dude,
Hmm.
right? Girls were beating me. Granted, it's the fast girls, right? I'm
Yeah.
not giving myself grace. It's not everyone's beating me. Again, I'm just in the focus. I'm like, I can't
Yeah.
believe girls are beating me.
Yeah. I didn't medal. I got
That's the
fourth place. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, right. So I'm very like that. I told you I'm kind of like a crazy competitor like that. So I'm just crazy in my mind like that, right? So all these girls are beating me. Granted, they're the best girls, right? So I just go balls to the wall, run as fast as I can, and then I just live with the result, right? They don't tell you the results until after you get into a group with your team and your coach reads out the results, right? Um, and I remember my coach, he goes, I just remember running, finishing. You grab like a popsicle stick with your place,
Yeah.
and then they give you the place, and then they match the place with the time, right, on the clock, right? So then you meet with your team. You know this. Meet with your
Yeah.
team. I'm just telling for the viewer.
No,
Yeah,
you're good.
you
You're
meet
good.
with your
Yeah.
team. You sit down. You meet with your team, and your coach reads off the results,
The
right?
times.
This
Yep.
person, you ran this time. You ran this time, and it goes, and then Coach Joffrey is like, with our most improved runner, his last time was 26 minutes. And then I'm like, what are you talking about? Most improved? Like, right? I didn't feel what time it was. I didn't look at the clock. I just ran. He's like, with a time of 23, with a time of 23, I think something.
Hmm.
Cameron, 10th place, right? And I was like, what?
You shaved off
And then everyone's like cheering me
3 minutes.
on, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, shaved off a whole 3 minutes. That's really unheard of. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, right? Because I'm still in the low 20s, like the higher 20s. I didn't think that was a big deal. But my coach said it's actually a really big deal in the running community. It's actually a really big deal. Shaving off seconds off your time is actually a
Is
really big deal.
tough. Yeah.
I shaved off a whole 3 minutes, right? And my coach was like, just commending me, and he was just like, I think you just haven't been working hard enough, right? I think
Just been
we have to
sandbagging this whole season.
yeah. And I was just like, I was just no, in my head I'm just like, no, this is my last meet. I just told myself I'm gonna fucking run.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna run. I don't care, right? So, uh, after that, I'm like, bro, I made the most improvement. I can't quit now.
Yeah. You got to keep going now. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't quit now, right? So I continued it, and when you improve in running, right? Again, you move up in groups, right? So I went from the last group to like the third group, because there's 5 groups. So I went from the last group to the third group, right? Big jump again, trained with them. And then my very next meet, um, I ran again. Again, you just run. I'm just running. And then uh, he tells you the time, and then the next week he's like, again with our most improved runner, going from a 23:0 something last meet. They're like, Cameron, do you know what you hit today? And I'm like, no, right? And then they're like, 22 minutes flat, and everyone's just cheering, right? And everyone's like,
Damn.
oh, he's like, another improve. They're like, another improvement. And then my coach is like, I'm closer to my coach now, and he's like, we're gonna have to move you up into another group now. You're running with so I'm not the fastest runner. So the groups were dedicated to our fastest runner at the time, right? Running like 15-minute 5Ks,
It's insane.
15 to
It's
16-minute
fast.
5Ks.
In high school, yeah.
Our first group, our first group, running that they're all 17 minutes. They're all 17 to 17 minutes. There's a 2A group for 18 to 21, and then there's a second group where it's just 21 to 22, right? So I got moved to the second group. And then I remember one of my best friends again, Ray Janicio. He was like, dude, stop messing around, bro. That's 22 minutes flat. Just get into a 21-minute 5K. I'm like, okay, so work hard again. Next meet again. Run. They in the huddle, the group huddle, with another improvement. Cameron with a time of 21:36, and then
Damn.
everyone was crazy. Yeah. So I just kept improving, and that's all she wrote, man. I started getting better, started feeling better, light on my feet.
Yeah.
Learning that running is more than just running. There's little things that you need the nuances to running, right? Your form, your head bob, your breathing, and everything like that. Learning all these things, right, when you get into the higher level, right? So I
Yeah.
went from the last group to the second group, touching the first group, because my goal now was 19-minute 5Ks, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. So that was all in junior year, man. So that's how I
How
found
did
running, just because
yeah.
track and field.
Yeah. With the goal of being less fat, you decided
Yeah.
this is actually going to be for me. You know what I mean? Through that hip pain and all of that. What was so? Because cross is in the beginning of the year. So what was the following track season for you in junior year? Did you see improvements in the
Oh
javelin and all
man.
that?
Oh, yep. That was actually kind of, well, junior year is kind of like the best year that I've ever had in sports, right? So you do really well. I did really well in cross country. Obviously, made the all island team for cross country. There's only 10 runners that make it from the 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 school, and I made it. Granted, I was sick that meet. But I still ran it. It was one of my worst times, but I was sick, right? So I didn't join any other sports because volleyball got moved back to fourth quarter, and I already made it a point in my mind like, oh, I joined cross country to get better at track. I'm just focused
Gonna
on
do
track. I
track.
am not
Yeah.
joining any other, yeah, track and field. I'm not doing any other sport, right? I'm gonna quit everything else. I won't even do basketball anymore, right? And then this comes this story where, um, so after cross country, if you don't join any other sport, the track and field coaches, it's called off-season training. You will train second, third quarter up until track and field season in fourth quarter, right, for the end of the year. So I was all in that on that second quarter. I was off season training. I was probably like one of like the best I've ever felt, like running, being strength wise too. Like you do running drills, you do strength training drills. Like it's for me, especially because I was a thrower, I still had to, even though I was running a lot, I still needed to be strong.
Hmm.
So and work on explosiveness. So I would do strength training as well, bring down weights and stuff. We'll do snatches, we'll do cleans, deadlifts and everything like that, just to get the explosiveness up. Again, the best I've ever felt. Second quarter, third quarter comes along. That's basketball season. I love basketball. Like you said, I told you I joined last year, or joined the sophomore year, made the team, was a starter. The coach was looking at me and saying like, he might be varsity. level next year, right? And I always wanted to play varsity level basketball. Um, but I didn't. Again, I was like very focused, hyper focused. No more for no other sport other than track and field. This is what I did. This is what I chose, right? To be the best. Third quarter came along, basketball season came, all right, or it was coming up. My coach, the basketball coach, is asking me, Cameron, I see you working a lot on the at the track. What is that? I'm like, oh, it's off season training for track and field. And he goes, are you joining basketball this year? And I'm like, no, coach, I'm focused on track. And he goes, that's a shame. I needed someone to get the team into shape, and we have a spot open for varsity. Or we have a spot open for varsity. And I was like, really? And they're like, he goes like, yeah, I want you to train the boys and get them into shape. So when the season starts, we're all in shape. I'm like, I was still on the fence about it, and I was like, yeah, coach, you can send the guys down because they're all my friends anyways, the upperclassmen, right? So all the seniors, our senior stars and everything like that. They come down to the track, and then they're like, hey Cam, coach said that you're gonna train us, man. And the day that they came was the workout was mile trials, so you have to time your best mile, try to get the best mile time you can. And I was trying to reach a goal, and I had a goal of a 5 minute mile, like just sub 5 minute mile, like right, just breaking 6, because I've always done that, like 6 minute miles, and I was like, I think I can hit a 550 mile.
Yeah.
So that was my goal, right? They came down that day, and I was a little irritated, but I was like, okay, no, coach told them to come down and I would train them, right? So I was like, yeah, guys, we're gonna do a mile trial today, and then the coach was like, we're actually gonna do it with a buddy system. We're gonna run with someone, and I said,
Okay, yeah.
man. So I got paired up. I got paired up with our star, with Valiant, and and he goes, Cam, I'll just run with you. I'm like, I don't know if you can keep up with me, VJ. And then he's like, what are we talking about? I think I can. And I'm like, all right, we'll run. Like we'll run, right? So I have my watch and I'm timing our run. And I'm already at a different like fitness level that in my life, right? So
Better
I'm
running
literally
shape
just
and all that.
kind of chilling, and he's dying. He's huffing and puffing. Cam, slow down, man. And I'm slowing, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so irritated. Like, I'm not going to hit my time, right? And then obviously we finished first though. So we're the first group to finish. And granted to him, he's just naturally athletically gifted, right? He still is, right?
Yeah.
To this day, right? He's just athletically gifted, just a gifted athlete. And he ran and stayed with me. And I was so mad that day. Like I stopped my stopwatch, and I remember the time, it was 6:12, 6 minutes and 12 seconds.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, right? I stopped the watch, and I was just like walking with my hands on my hips, just like this, not even breathing too hard. I'm like, oh God, can't believe I hit a 6 minute, 12
yeah.
second mile.
Yeah.
So freaking slow. And then he's just like dying in the back, is like laying down.
It's like, I can't believe I hit a 6 minute mile. Yeah.
No, he doesn't even know the time because I didn't tell him.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and he goes, you're freaking fast, man. What the hell? and I was like, I told you couldn't. I told you, I don't think you could have kept up with me. You could have partnered up with someone else. I could have just ran by myself, right?
Yeah.
I was just like irritated. And then my coach saw that, the basketball varsity coach saw that, and he goes, Cameron, are you sure you're not going to join basketball this year? I think we have a spot for you on varsity. And I'm like, man, if this guy keeps saying I'm going to be in varsity for basketball, yeah, I'll just try out. So third quarter comes along, basketball tryouts come along. I do it, I make varsity, right? And then just during the middle of the season, the coach pulls me to the side and he goes, Cameron, do you think you can outplay this person? And I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, this is basketball season. I made the varsity team already. We had like two like practices, and I felt like I was having the great great practices. Like, again, I was in the best shape of my life. I'm jumping higher. Um, I'm just like I'm uh I'm playing with our stars, like the stars that have been established in sophomore year. There's freshman, sophomore year in high school. They're the grade above us. Like this, they're the star level uh players. I'm with them, right?
Yeah.
I'm
On their
hanging with
level.
them, right? Yeah, and I remember one of our stars. He was a center. Um, we were doing a 3-on-3 drills, and they my team missed the shot, and the the three people who we were going against were the top three stars in our school. So they were all on the same team. There was the center, VJ, and then my friend Lance Gogui, if you don't know Lance, right?
The name
They were
sounds
always
familiar.
the
Yeah.
threesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were always that
The
was
big
our
three.
basketball stars.
Hmm.
Yes. So they were always in the drills together, in the 3-on-3 drills. My team missed. They got the rebound, threw it down to their center, and I just remember hauling ass, booking it, just trying to like play defense on him. And I was like, if he puts this ball down, the center, if he catches the ball off the pass and puts it down and goes up for a shot, like I know he's gonna do, I'm gonna catch him and I'm gonna block. I'm gonna block him, right? So I'm like a little past, like a little farther from half court. Here's where I'm at. Here's where the guy's at, and then here's the half court line. And once he put the ball down, I'm like, oh, I'm catching him. I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
catching him. I flew. He went up for his layup. I ran as fast as I can. I jumped up. I blocked. I blocked his shot so hard to the. I went over him, blocked his shot so hard, hit the wall. The whole gym went crazy, and even our star,
Hmm.
that's his teammate, right? But he's
Yeah.
like, oh,
That was nuts. Yeah.
he's like that's varsity basketball. He's like good defense, Cam. He's on the
Yeah.
other team, but he's like yelling.
He's
He's like
cheered you on.
good
Yeah.
defense, Cam. He's like
Yeah.
that's varsity basketball right there. And he goes, Raymar, you just got blocked by 100 classmen, right? And
Yeah.
I thought I got the gym pretty hyped, right? And our coach, he blew the whistle and to call us for a huddle. And I was like, oh, he's gonna commend me for my hard work and not giving up on the play and everything like that, right? So
Yeah.
came in, and then he goes, Cameron, and I'm like, looked at him, and he goes, take 8 laps, and I was like, what? And he goes, run 8 laps, and I was like, okay. So I just ran it. I was like, I'm not sure why, and everyone was like wondering why too. And then he's like, hurry up. So everyone was waiting for me, and I was running the laps. Everyone was like kind of confused. And then I finished my laps because obviously, again, best shape of my life. I'm fast. So I walked, I ran, and I was like, what? And then he
What was that
goes,
for?
you know what you did wrong there? And I was like, no, I played good defense. And he goes, no, that was a very dangerous play. You could have injured one of our star players, right? And he goes, and with that kind of play in mind, I don't think you have like you're at that level yet, right? So so he tells everyone to break. We're going back to practice, and that's when he calls me over and he has a conversation of, Cameron, do you think you can outplay this player? And I'm like, what were you talking about? He goes, just tell me, do you think you can outplay this player? So he'll start off with our stars. Like, do you think you can outplay this player? I'm like, obviously not. And we're going down the line. It gets to like my friends on the team our year, like
Mhm.
Rashawn Blas. Obviously I can't play him. He's really good, right? So I was like, you think he can outplay Rashawn? And I'm like, no, I don't think so, right? And he started naming other players like Gio Kichisho, one of my good friends. And then he goes, you think you can outplay Gio? And I'm like, oh, I'm like, what do you want me to say? Like, he's like one of my best, like one of my good friends. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
say that. And then he goes, just tell me if you think you can. And I'm like, I'm in better shape.
Yeah.
I'm a better defender. I said, that's in my head. And I'm like, yes, I can. And once I said, yes, I can, he goes, I don't think so.
Oh, so he was testing you.
And I'm like,
Sorry.
yeah. And then I was just like, oh, okay. And he goes, do you think you can outplay my other friend,
Mhm.
Don Mariano?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, yes, I'm in way better shape than him. I'm a better
Yeah.
defender. He's just a better shooter, right? I'm like,
Mhm.
yes, I can. He goes, hmm, I don't. He goes, that's my question.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't know if you can, right? And I'm just like, what the fuck? This guy's like really. I'm like, then why ask me
Yeah.
if you feel like you know the answer already? And he's like,
Your
tell you what.
questions.
Yeah. So he's like, tell you what. He's in JV right now. I'm gonna move you down to JV and switch him to varsity. I'm gonna come to the JV practice, and if it looks like you're head and above, head and shoulders above them, and that you don't belong there, I'll bring you back up to varsity. So I'm a little sad that I'm getting demoted, but I'm like, I still have a chance, right? So I show up to JV practice, and all the junior varsity players are scared. They're scared of me because they're like, what are you doing here, Cam? And I was like, coach said he's gonna move me down from varsity to JV, but if I do well in this practice, then he'll move me back up.
Mhm.
He'll come here, right?
Yeah.
So I put on my shoes and I'm looking for him, and I'm like, I don't see him yet. Maybe he'll come in later. And I have one of the best practices of my life. Like I'm destroying all these like JV players, right? And I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, I don't belong here. I'm too good. And then even the JV players, I remember them saying like, what is this guy even doing here? He's a varsity player,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm like, oh, so I'm like, I heard that and I was like, oh yeah, he's supposed to be here somewhere. So I'm looking around for him in the gym and he's not there. So he lied to me. Uh, didn't show up the whole practice, and then
Oh,
I just ended
wow.
up BJV my whole junior year, which was okay because it took a hit on me, like especially like emotionally. I could have been working on track and field and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I felt like I wasted time
Yep.
trying out for basketball, and for him to just put me back on JV. Uh, so yeah, he never showed up. I played JV my whole junior year. Again, it wasn't that bad because I played the whole time. I played
Yeah.
every position
Yeah.
because my coach was like, I asked my coach, I'm like, hey coach, what do you think you're gonna play me as? And there's positions on basketball. They're like, oh, so we're thinking of running you at the 4 and the 5 like you used to be on sophomore year. But then I see that you're more like versatile, so we'll probably play you at the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5.
So
So I
really
played
just
every position.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I played every position, and again, I could take being in JV as a slight. I did. I
Mhm.
was so mad that I didn't get to be in varsity as a
As you were
junior.
promised, yeah.
Uh, yeah, as I was promised. And then and then, but the flip side is I got to play the whole time.
More.
I was a captain I was a captain. I played the whole game. I played every game, whole game, and I
Mhm.
played every position. So,
That's awesome.
that helped,
There's that
right?
silver
So, and
lining.
then yeah, that was a silver lining. And then track and field again, like you said, what
Mhm.
it prepared me for was track
Yeah.
and field season. And man, that was all she wrote when I was in track and field. I was the best from start. The best javelin thrower from the start. I was like up against the quarterback from Guam High. Is like this tall white guy,
Mm.
6 foot. He's probably like 6'2". Named Sean Sweet.
Damn.
Yeah, he was the starting quarterback for Guam High. It was me and him.
Mhm.
Had like a little friendly rivalry going on.
Yeah.
Uh, he- it was me and him as the top two throwers for the whole year. Um,
What was
and we had a friendly
your
rivalry going on.
what was your
Go ahead.
record for javelin for just of all time for you?
At that time was 37, like 37 meters.
Dang, so
So that
much improvement
yeah, pretty far.
from
Yeah,
freshman year
from much
of throwing
improvement
that
from
30.
yeah. Yeah, my freshman year got fifth place with like a distance of like 30 point something meters. Uh junior year or sophomore year, fourth place with like a distance of 34.
Okay.
And then junior year, I was just competing with him throughout uh school year. He would even bring like again friendly competition. He would bring down his his friends. to watch because they're like, "What are we doing here?" Like from his friends from Guam High, they're like,
Yeah.
"What are we doing here? Like, I thought you were the best thrower, right?" And they're like, "No, I have to watch this guy throw from GW, right?" And it was me, and he introduced me to all his friends. He says, "Hey guys, this is Cameron, right? He's one of the best throwers too from GW."
GW.
And then I was like, "Hey, nice to meet you guys." And we're just like shaking hands and everything. They're like, and then one of his friends, he goes, "This guy?" Again,
Yeah.
I have a reputation a little bit, or not a reputation, but I felt like everyone kind of poo-pooed my, pushed down my
Yeah,
accomplishments, right?
underplayed everything you
They're
did.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, everything I did, they're like, "This guy?" And I was just like, "Oh, let me show you, man."
Yeah.
So he didn't, I was like, "Hey man, you're not throwing, Sean, today?" He goes, "No, I'm not throwing." And my shoulders kind of messed up a little bit. Or I don't know what he was, but I think he was just sitting out that week.
Oh,
His
okay.
coach
Yeah.
wanted him to rest. And then he's like, "Yeah, but I just came down to watch you." And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
wow.
okay." And then in my head,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, you watch this, right?
Watch this. Yeah.
Like watch this." So I threw, obviously I was the best. I was the best at the time, right? So I threw farthest, I threw the best that day. And then I remember going to his friends, and again, friendly rivalry. We're friends, but he's just scouting out the competition, and I'm just there, just like trying to put it in his head, like, "Hey, man,
Showing
I'm
him what's
here,
up.
right?
Yeah.
I'm doing
This
it,
is
yeah,
competition.
yeah, yeah." So I threw it right, and went to that guy that he said, "This guy," and then I literally said, "Yeah, I'm that guy." I'm that guy. And
Yeah.
I used to be like that too. I used to trash talk and all that stuff like that. I used to be a
Yeah.
little crazy Joe. So I don't know if you remember me as a competitor in like
Yeah.
sports or anything like that. I think you
Hell
only
yeah,
saw
dude.
like stuff, but I was very like that. I was always like, "Yeah, I'm that guy." Right. And then he's like, and he goes, "Bro," after the meet was done, after the throws were done, he goes, "Bro, don't." I was dapping up everyone, saying hi to. I was talking to Sean, and then his friends came up like, "Dude, you throw freaking far, man." And I'm like, "Thanks, appreciate." I was like, "Thanks, appreciate that." Right? I'm
Yeah.
like, "There's like, thanks, appreciate that." Like looking at him like that, and then he goes, "Dude, don't take this the wrong way, man. I don't mean any disrespect, but bro, you do not look athletic at all." And I'm like, "What the hell?" And then I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, dude, doesn't look like you can do much, but then you could throw. Then we see you throwing, you're throwing freaking far." And then in my head, I'm like, "This motherfucker."
Yeah. This
So
guy.
again, I'm just again the I've always had the underdog mentality. I always felt like I had a chip on my shoulder. I always had to prove everything to everybody, um, in anything I did, right? And that even goes to academics, not just sports, just academics, right? And yeah, man, had that chip on my shoulder junior year. That's all she wrote, man.
Crazy.
After that all island meet was the all island champion. So you go from fifth place, fourth place, and then just being the champion.
Yeah. Never
And
mind third and
my junior
second,
year, and
just straight to the top.
yeah, yeah, and then that's a testament to like hard work paying off, man. And I mean, I felt like it kind of encompassed all of that. So
For
that was
sure.
like the long-winded answer to like how I
Yeah.
found running, and then where I was in track and field.
Track that year.
It's what it was, man.
The thing I really like about all the stories you've mentioned, from your first few meets doing javelin in freshman year, right? And learning how to kind of throw on the fly. That and then even, you know, junior year cross country being like, I'm the slowest guy here was I noticed in those two stories that you kind of dropped all expectations of yourself. You know, you expected, because like previously it sounds like when you didn't do as well as you hoped or as you expected, you thought, okay, I'm going to make these radical changes, go from fifth to medaling, right, in javelin or whatever it is, and or shave off all this time. And then when you got to a point, just kind of where the cards fell, you were like, screw it, I'm just gonna go, balls to the wall. I'm just gonna, just gonna keep going. And when you decided to kind of just stop thinking, you had mentioned too at a point you kind of relaxed a bit just because you weren't in your head as much, and then you do so much better than you expected. I think that's a really important thing because lots of times we do have expectations. For me, it's this podcast. I expect it to be a certain way, during the interviews, during whatever it is. And it doesn't always go that way, and so I'm hard on myself. My internal dialogue's pretty harsh, and
Mhm.
when I
Same
kind
here,
of
man.
just
Same here.
when I just
No,
drop it
been
though,
like
and I'm
that.
like just flow, just enjoy it, it turns out really well, and or at least in my opinion. So I like that. I like that. That's the same way that being an underdog or having that chip on your shoulder has been a recurring theme in your life. In those moments that really defined you, right? That showed you, oh, I could actually have potential in track, or I'm actually a pretty decent runner. It came from kind of the boiling point, and then being like, screw it, dropping everything, not caring about what's going to happen, and just doing it. And that's super impressive. So I like that a lot about those stories, is just having expectations and then just being like, it's going to be what it is. And so that's awesome. To
Yeah,
pivot a
man.
bit,
Thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
I wanted to ask, and I mentioned this off camera a bit, but in keeping in theme with the podcast, what do you think a good life looks like to you?
Right now, man, I want to say like I've been talking about it a lot with people, right? I've had a chance and opportunity in my career, right, for to speak in front of people, to actually kind of give advice to like the younger generation, um, just with the work that I did, in my career. What I, you know, Yeah, and it goes back to all the stories like when I was in high school, and I have so much stories from when I was in high school, and me being this kid that was just chip on his shoulder, wanting to prove everyone wrong, um, and just being like, having that like a sense of kind of like anger, as well as like just negative emotion, negative energy. What I want out of life now that I'm older, and I mean, obviously I haven't accomplished so much, but I feel like I've accomplished enough, right? I kind of just want, when you're a kid, you want all the smoke, right? You want all the competition. You want to trash talk to everybody. You want to show I'm gonna prove you wrong or do all this. But as like an adult, as I am right now, I just want peace, man. And what a good life looks like is just having a not even just a job that I enjoy, just a comfortable life, comfortable, whatever that definition of comfortable is to you. For me, it's not having to worry about anything. I grew up worrying about everything. I grew up in, I wasn't too poor, but I was a single parent household. It was with my mom, and she always struggled. Like, she always struggled, taking care of us, and living paycheck to paycheck, and having that stress. And you mentioned I like to think I was a smart kid growing up, right? I did well in school. Um, but smart, not just in book wise, but smart in life. I saw that, you could feel that energy of not knowing if you're gonna make it. And a comfortable life to me is just knowing that everything is paid for, all my bills are paid for, everything is taken care of in my life, and I get to just live with
Nice.
my fiance. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, nice. You guys are engaged. Well, dude,
yeah,
congrats.
yeah, man.
Congrats.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. I mean,
Yeah.
we've been dating for 7 years, going on 8.
Wow.
We just got engaged last year. And always knew she was the one. I always knew she was the one ever since we
It's
first started
awesome.
dating. But told her, I'm like, I need the money first
Yeah.
get you the to get you the ring,
Get
right?
you
To
the
get
ring. Yeah,
everything
yeah.
in place. And yeah, and last year I was fortunate enough to have a really great job before I moved out here, and
That's
it
awesome.
worked out, man. It worked out.
Dude, that's
So
that's
that's
so
a good
great.
life, man. Just living a
Yeah.
comfortable, good life, and comfortable life, whatever that definition is,
Yeah.
and just doing good, man. Just being a good person in general, right? Like, you don't have to be a saint and follow rules to the T, but just being a good person, just
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah. I really like your answer, man. That's awesome that it's not too complicated, you know. It doesn't require flashy things. It just requires, good living, requires being a good person, requires, all the bills paid and not worrying financially, right? Not stressing out. Um, that's solid. What does the perfect last day look like to you?
Perfect last day I like on earth.
Yeah. If it was your last day today,
Mhm.
what are you doing?
If it was my last day today, I would wake up at the time I want to wake up. No alarm, no anything. You just wake up naturally. Um, I don't know if I'm am I old in this scenario or
Right
am
now,
I
today,
my age?
today.
Oh, my
Yeah, yeah,
age,
yeah,
right?
your
So
age. Yep.
I I I have a good workout, get a good workout in, right? Just do something active. Hang out with my fiance, whether that be going grocery shopping, go and then having lunch, having dinner, coming home, relaxing, having a peaceful night, and then just if it was my last night, right, just die in my sleep, man. I think like that's like a beautiful way to go. Like just in your sleep. I think that's
Yeah.
the nicest way to go
All right. That's a
on
good
your own
answer.
terms. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Just being with the people you love, being with family, right? Being with your fiance. Um,
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Again, showing
Yeah,
that it
man.
doesn't require flashy things. A simple life can be a really
Oh,
good
man.
life. A simple day can be a really good day.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
hmm
Um,
And I think that's like that's what I've learned throughout the years, right? You have grand ideas about what
yeah.
you want in your life. Like I wanted to be so successful, like so bad at one point,
hmm
and you have success, right? But then you're like, what does it really mean? Like,
Yeah.
what is it like? What does it really feel like when you're successful? And to be honest with you, the complex ideas, right, of what you feel to be successful and what it is to be like rich and have make it and have status. The complexity changes, and you just want things that are simple now.
Yeah.
When you're older, when you're older, and like when you're getting older, as you know, I just turned 31 2 weeks ago, right? So,
Dude. Yeah, that's right. Happy belated.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
thanks, bro, appreciate that. So,
it's one of
just
those
one simple life.
things. Yeah, it's one of those things where the questions are simple, we complicate the answers, and then it's like this
hmm
mess right in the beginning, and then as we get older, we start to really unravel things, and then we focus in on
hmm
this is actually what I care about. This is what I find important. So I like that. What are what are some of the things on your bucket list? What do you want to do before you die?
Man, I'm not a very adventurous person, to be honest with you.
It doesn't have to be
I
a big
don't.
thing. Just
Yeah, I don't need to go skydiving. I don't
yeah,
need
yeah, yeah.
to go on a haunted balloon. It'd be cool, but I don't need to do all those things. Something on my bucket list. I never really thought about that. Uh, I I feel like just enjoying the moment. Traveling obviously is probably one, right? You want to travel to different places just to experience different things. Um, going on the bucket list items, probably going to Europe, going somewhere where you can see the aurora borealis, right?
Okay.
The
Yeah, yeah,
northern
yeah.
lights. Um, just seeing like and then seeing like the wonders of the world, man. I just feel like that would be a bucket list item. Was there seven wonders of the world? Probably see
Yeah,
that.
7. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's cool. Have you looked at doing any of that? I think the Grand
I
Canyon is
have.
one of them, right? If I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
mistaken. Yeah, and aren't you
We're
near
very
the Grand
close. We're
Canyon?
very close by. Yeah, we're very close by just to drive, man, to be honest with you.
What's stopping
And
you from
I
making the
think
drive?
the just work. Oh, you gotta
Yeah,
find gotta find time for it, right?
yeah.
Um, I feel what's stopping me from doing it right now just because I have a little, I have a lot of things to plan for. I have a wedding coming up in 2027, so I wanna focus in on that, and then after after getting married, that's when we can start thinking about traveling and
Yes.
all that jazz. I mean,
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to travel. I've been to the States a lot, been to Japan, but that's pretty much it. So I need to
Expand
put more
the
stamps on
yeah,
that
put on the
passport,
passport.
right?
Yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Where are you guys having the wedding out in the States? In Vegas, or are you guys going back to
No, we're
Guam?
having it back home on Guam. Yeah,
Oh,
we're going
nice.
back home to Guam,
That's
for the
awesome.
wedding. It'll it's just easier just because the family's there, and
Sounds
I
there.
don't think our
Yeah.
family is gonna be able to travel. I think only the ones that really, really like can are gonna
hmm
travel, but my family kind of
Yeah.
no shot. It's hard for them to. They haven't really traveled
Yeah,
in a bit, so
it definitely limits, who can attend and stuff and, but that's awesome. You guys and your fiance's from Guam, right? If I'm not mistaken?
yeah, she's from
Yeah.
Guam, but she went to school in Arizona.
Cool. Oh wow, so close by to
So
where you guys are at too.
yeah, she went to U of A, so that's why we kind of made the move out here. Uh, the reason why we moved out here is she did get a great position. Um, she works for the police department out here in Henderson.
Wow.
And, you know, it was a fun time, man. We were going through the process. Like I remember being back home on Guam, and I had a great job back home. Like not gonna lie, I was hitting all these career milestones in my
Mhm.
life. I'm making really great money. You know, living a comfortable life, right? Not that I'm all my bills are paid for. My credit score is good.
Mhm.
Um, I can eat out at any restaurant I want without looking at the
Not worrying about.
price. And
Yeah.
I think that's a luxury. I think that's a luxury that people overlook is going into a restaurant
Yeah,
and just
for sure.
ordering what you want, not having to worry about the price on anything. Just going in, doing that, right? So I was able to do that other life. I'm living with her, right? We're living together. Um, and then she got this. We were out to a night at a nice dinner one night, and
Mhm.
we always knew that we wanted to live out here, to live
Mhm.
out in the U.S. Right? Through our frequent annual trips.
Yeah.
Again, grateful enough that I was
To
able
be able to
to
do
have
that.
a career that did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So had annual trips, annual vacations, which is so unheard of in my
Mhm.
life, right?
Yeah.
Right. Who gets to do that? Um, but so she's like, I want to live out here, babe. I'm like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
sure. Let's start applying to places. And we both started applying to places. I got a few hooks there, right? Our top three were living in Washington, Arizona, or Vegas,
Mhm.
right? Just because Vegas, I have all my best friends out here. Mentioned to
Yeah.
you earlier off camera,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
All my close high school friends are out here.
The gang's all there.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yep, and she's familiar with Arizona. And then my sister-in-law, her sister, out in Washington, have a place to stay with
Mm.
them. So,
Mhm.
as those are our best friends, man. So,
It's awesome.
uh,
Dude, well,
yeah,
yeah,
man. So
Vegas Vegas is a
started
fun
moving out
place.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, started doing all the research. She applied. She got a job out here, and it was so funny. We were at a nice dinner, and she was like, man, babe, I got this job opportunity. And I'm like, oh, that's good. Where at? She goes, it's in Vegas. And I'm like, oh, okay, you got an interview? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, when's the interview? Like, are you gonna schedule like a Zoom or something? She goes, no, that's the thing. It has to be in person.
Oh
And I'm
my
like,
gosh.
oh, really? Okay, that's cool. And then I was just I wasn't even phased by it.
Mhm.
I was just like, oh yeah, okay. So you want to go? And then she's like, that's a lot of money, babe. And I'm like, I could do it. Like
Mhm.
we could
Don't
do
worry
it.
about it.
Right,
Yeah.
and she's like, yeah, and she's like, she was, you know, my fiance's she's very. It's not that she's a penny pincher. She's frugal. It's just that she worries about money a lot. Like
Mhm.
she's very responsible. She's fiscally responsible, right? So she doesn't think spending a lot of money is like a great good at that time. Me, I'm just, hey man, if we want to do it, you can do it, and
Let's go.
we could do it. Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go, right? And I said, oh, okay. Well, if you don't want to, I mean, I feel like this is a great opportunity for you. I don't want you to have any regret in your life, right? Like, I don't want you to think of what could have been, what if I
Yeah.
went out and I did, you know, right? So I told her, I'm like, and if you don't want me to spend money, I have all these miles. It's like I can book a trip through miles. And she goes, aren't you saving all that miles? And I'm like, yeah, I'm saving it, but I'm saving it for things like this.
Yeah. This
Like,
is
what
what
am
it's
I
for.
saving for if
Yeah.
we're not going to be used, right? So, and at that point, I had goals for myself too.
Mhm.
For United, I had a goal of reaching a quarter of a million miles. Did
Damn.
that. Yeah,
Damn.
did
Okay.
that. And then after I did quarter of a million, I was the goal was half a million. And I was close. I was close to that. But and then that's when that story happened. I was just like, dude, I have half a million miles. What am I, or close to half a million? What am I going to use it for?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna do that.
There's no
Right.
point
So
in
I did it.
saving if you're not gonna, you know, that's
Yeah.
what these are for.
We booked two round trip tickets from Guam to Las
To Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah, just completely free. I think we only paid for a rent a car and Airbnb, which is like you like
Loads
four hundred
cheaper than
bucks.
an actual ticket. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
$400. Yeah, 400 to like maybe 400 to $600. Let's just say that. Came out here. she obviously did well. They invited her back to another interview. Um, two more interviews after that, and then January 2025, the end of January 2025, she got the offer letter,
It's
and then
awesome.
and they said like when can you start, and she gave
Hmm.
like a date like in March to
Yeah.
give us just time to like sell everything and to
Yeah.
move out and to
Hmm.
like pack and everything. Um, so yeah, they were like, oh yeah, we can wait for you for March. That's good. March is a good
Right.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and then she's like, what are we gonna do about your job though? You have a good job. Maybe you can just keep the job and I go out and then
Uh-huh.
you come out later. And I'm like, no, 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 no.
Let's
I'll
go.
just move out with you.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I'm ready to move. It's
Yeah.
okay. Right. It's always been the plan ever since after high school, man. I always wanted to leave. I knew Guam. Guam's always home, but I knew I wanted to do something else. Right.
Yeah.
But just circumstances in my life have had kept me there until I'm 30. I was 30. Right.
Yeah.
Until I was
Yeah.
30. But now that I'm out here, I have no regrets. It's great, man.
It's awesome. That's good, dude. That's it's wonderful to hear how well it's all worked out for you guys, getting the having the opportunity to go out for the interview, right, which is what sparked it, and then
Yeah.
her landing the job, them working out with a couple months later, right, in March, and then here you guys are.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. And it
Dude,
goes back to your bucket list question. I think
yeah.
the reason why I don't think of much about my bucket list is because it kind of, uh, I'm not. It's not that I've done everything that I've ever wanted to do. I just, I just feel like I've been. I feel like saying those things as like bucket list is like a dream. I just feel like it's gonna come
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. Like
N-
it's just gonna happen. Like
yeah.
it'll,
I get that.
yeah,
It's kind of like when people say, "Oh, what are the things you want to do before you kick the bucket?" Right? It's like these are things that I haven't done yet, but it sounds like for you, your bucket's already full because you've done so many really great things, throughout your life that you're not even focused of, well, what more can I add to it? Like I'm just enjoying the fruits of our labor, but I'm also enjoying the life that we've built, right? And you've built it up to a point where, you know, no complaints, really at the end of the day kind of thing. So that's, you don't have to have an answer. It's great to hear though that,
yeah,
again, going back to good life, perfect last day, that those are very simple things that you're already doing. So wonderful to hear those things. But dude, it's been a real pleasure catching up with you.
dude.
Hearing all
It's
those
been
stories
great.
again
Thank you.
of high school and middle school, those were fun times, and just getting to know you
Yeah,
more.
man.
So we'll go ahead and bring this one
Yeah,
in,
Joe. Oh yeah.
dude.
Nice, bro. I appreciate you reaching out to doing this, man. Uh I feel like I have a lot of stories that I feel like could relate to a lot of people. And
Yeah,
again, that was going back to the thing of feeling like, oh, people
your
uh
accomplishments.
downplay my accomplishments or what I've done. And I was looking at it wrong. I feel like I should look at it as like, oh wow, that's flattering because
Yeah,
people can see themselves in me, and it's a nice trait. Learning, being in the workforce and being in human resources, right? Just learning about people. It's a great trait to be relatable. That's what it is, right? To have someone see themselves
in
in
you.
you and they're like, "Oh, I could do that. I could do that too because he did that."
Yeah,
That's a nice thing. It shouldn't be viewed as a bad thing. It
yeah, it's
shouldn't
a
be viewed
high
as disrespect.
compliment for sure. Yeah, I
It's a
think
respect. Yeah, it's a respect.
it does come just the older we get, the hopefully wiser we get. Definitely sounds like you've
Yeah.
grown, a lot wiser in the last 30 years. So
Well,
it's
dude,
always yeah.
hopefully, man. I hope so, dude.
No, dude, it's like I said, it's been a real pleasure. I'm so glad you agreed to doing this. This also doesn't have to be the only episode, man. I'd love to have you back on, can catch up, go into more
Yeah.
stories and stuff like that. But where can people find you? What do we got going on as far as
That's the
social
social.
media? Plug it all in.
Well, they could find me they could find me in Vegas. Right? They
Find you
can
in
find me in
Vegas.
Henderson,
Yeah,
right?
find you in real
They can
life.
find me in Henderson, man. As for social media, I'm not much of like influencer or anything like that. I do have social media, but you can find
Yeah,
me on all the platforms though. You can find
cool.
me on Facebook. So I'm the only Cameron Duckwitz.
Yeah,
I'm the only Cameron Duckwitz. So if you search me up, if you search my name up, I'm there.
Yeah.
And even
Sweet.
on Instagram too, like my handle's not that, but if you search me
Mhm.
up, I'll be there.
You'll be there for sure. Yeah. No, it's just always nice for people to
Yeah.
kind of, you know, if they wanted to get to know you more, just to kind of reach out and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
If they ever feel like reaching out, need someone to talk to, any if they found any of my stories insightful and they feel like they're like, oh, this is someone I could learn from.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hit me up on. I'm happy to talk. I'm
Talk. Cool.
happy to share whatever I have.
Awesome. Dude, well, I definitely learned a lot, and I'm taking a lot with me from this conversation for sure. So again, pleasure to have you on, dude. Until next time.
Thanks, Joe.
Alrighty.
Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Thank you, bro.
Bye,
Hey,
everybody.
don't be a stranger anymore, man.
Yes,
Bye,
sir.
everyone.
Yes, sir.
Bye, everyone.